LEGO has launched a bunch of new licensed themes since 2020. Some are great, others are still developing, and others are pretty bad. Today we will rank every licensed LEGO theme that has launched in 2020, spanning 14 lines in total. Welcome to the Brick Collectibles Show, tell me what your favorite new theme is, and let's get into it. Coming in at number 14, we've got Gabby's Dollhouse. Having been launched in 2023, this theme currently sits at 9 sets, with new ones still being released. By the way, when I say theme here, it means a line with more than just a single one-off set under its own banner, so no Horizon, no Lord of the Rings, no Transformers. But getting back to Gabby here, I will say that in all brutality, there is no reason to buy any of these sets if you aren't a die-hard Gabby's Dollhouse fan. Obviously, this is a theme clearly not aiming for adults, which can be seen by even just looking at the 4+ label on every set, but these builds are also all very simple and uninspired. I said this is only interesting for fans of Gabby's Dollhouse, since many of the builds can be found almost one-to-one in LEGO Friends, for example. This theme waters down many design friends has accumulated for over more than a decade while improving on nothing really. Licensed themes should offer something new or improve on previous products, and Gabby's Dollhouse not only doesn't do that, it is also actively worse than any comparable themes. On spot number 13, we have a pretty new line, being LEGO Nike. This is a theme that is clearly still in its infancy. Its very first set released in July, and so far only 2 more have followed. But a theme can still be very young and very good. Sadly though, that isn't the case here. The Nike Slam Dunk is a set that's just really bad, and after seeing it in person at the LEGO store, believe me when I say the official pictures majorly flatter it. LEGO Nike's other sets are also fairly forgettable, and it really is such a shame because there's so much potential buried in this theme which they just haven't touched at all. For example, proper basketball sets would be a dream, with a real court like we saw for football in the Icons of Play. That set also featured real players, so I don't see why LEGO Nike can't be utilized to give us actual minifigs of players from the NBA and WNBA. These sets are also pretty expensive, the cheapest costing $40, which is crazy. Taking spot number 12, we've got Trolls World Tour. I initially thought this set came out last decade, but I was wrong. Let's speak on its theme's strengths first. We see new pieces for pretty much every character from this movie, whether there was only a new head, new legs, or even full body molds. It also didn't have that high of a price ceiling, meaning its most expensive set came at $60, while its cheapest cost $20, which is totally acceptable. But now we face the same issue as Gabby's Dollhouse. This is a theme that tries to be so many things and doesn't really succeed at any of them. Whatever this theme tried, LEGO Friends basically did it before, and in the rare occasion that it didn't, Elves, as short for anyone that still remembers LEGO Elves, did it better. On spot number 11, we got another very new theme, this time it's Bluey. This is another theme that, similarly to Gabby's Dollhouse, solely exists in the 4+ realm, but unlike Gabby's Dollhouse, is far better at it. Of course, the show's character designs lend themselves to it, requiring special molds for pretty much every minifigure, but that already sets it apart from everything else. To me at least, LEGO Bluey is kinda reminiscent of Fabuland, but like in a much less weird way. 4+ sets have a tendency of being pretty expensive, but again, the cheapest set here is $20, the most expensive one is $70, so it's still nothing over the top. I'm very excited to see where this theme goes, and could imagine it moving up in the next couple of years, but 11th is its place for now. Now on spot number 10, I've got Wednesday. Having launched last year, it still has only gotten 6 sets, and it succeeds in places the other themes didn't. For one, Wednesday fills the hole of a theme with a spookier/creepier vibe, the likes of which we haven't really seen since Monster Fighters. The theme also has a far greater target audience, since it isn't labeled purely as a 4+ theme, and because the show is also incredibly popular, of course. There is a problem of pricing and set allocations though. The cheapest mainline set from LEGO Wednesday comes in at $27, which is pretty hefty, and a top price of $110 isn't the best either. Now, high prices aren't always a detriment, as we'll see later in the video, but some of these sets really seem hardly worth their price, and a theme like this would really have benefited from focusing on more mini-doll scale sets. On 9th place, we've got a theme that I may or may not have forgotten on the first draft of the script: Super Mario. With 6 collectible character series and multiple sub-themes, this theme has become a staple of LEGO's current lineup, but it's just one I'm so disappointed by. Speaking on the positives first, I think especially their newest Mario Kart line of sets has brought a breath of fresh air into this theme and gave fans the opportunity to finally get some much desired characters. On the other hand though, this is a theme with an enormously high barrier of entry. If you want to probably use this theme system, you will have to pay at least $50 to get one of last year's starter courses. That is the only way you're able to get one of the interactive figures through LEGO, and speaking of figures, imagine the amazing minifigs that could have come from this theme. It is undoubtedly an interesting concept that carries so much wasted potential with it though. Spot number 8 is really taken up by 2 themes, but you can hardly tell them apart, so I'ma just lump Despicable Me and Minions in here together. With its 2 stints in 2020 to 2021 and 2024, this theme really shines in terms of accessibility. We've not only got 2 polybags and 3 sets below the $20 mark, but there's also not a single set over the $55 mark. Every individual mold these themes received is obviously another plus point, but it's still far from perfect. While the theme succeeded in some areas, it fails especially hard in terms of builds and designs. Many are pretty uninspired, and really the only ones that jump out at you are the Minions and Groot's Family Mansion, as well as the brick-built minions and their lair. Other than those two, this theme really lacks in quality in terms of builds, which is something you won't see from this point onwards anymore. Now we're at the halfway point, and at spot number 7 I've put Wicked. From here on out, the themes are really good. The first 7 weren't necessarily bad, but they are clearly not on the same level as the rest of this list. I have an instinctive aversion to a theme like Wicked, because I'm simply not a big fan of mini dolls, but I feel like this theme does so many other things correctly. While an entry point of $27 isn't brilliant, it is very well spread out from that point, pretty much addressing all price classes and all kinds of sets, meaning there are enough playscale sets, there's a buildable figure set as well as 2 pure display sets, neither over $160. LEGO also made sure to avoid the problem of remaking old sets in new colors by putting unique spins on familiar concepts while adapting the movie pretty well. But in the end, it's not a perfect theme. Some prices are undoubtedly crazy, and since this theme is probably done for good, I also don't see it moving up the list in the future. 6th place is taken up by one of the more underrated themes that has launched in the last 5 years, Lightyear. It's an easily forgotten one, probably because it only included 3 regular sets, but it is truly excellent. The minifigures in this theme are amazing, clearly showing what designers can do if their budget isn't spread too thin, which is also reflected in the builds. A set like the XL-15 spaceship remains as one of the best small-scale spaceships we've ever seen, further elevated by it actually being a display set as well. At $50, as the wave's most expensive set, it's exemplary for this theme's incredible pricing, all within a $30 range, out of which it extracts the max. Really, Lightyear's biggest foil was just its source material that killed pretty much any hype for this line. On spot number 5, we've got a theme that came way too late, but it announced itself with a bang: Fortnite. Having been launched late last year, LEGO Fortnite has been surprisingly putting out a lot of non-playscale sets, providing us with 3 buildable characters, 3 brickheads, and 5 minifig scale sets. I think that last category is also where it succeeds the most. Sure, the Durburger restaurant was definitely a hiccup, but other than that, the theme has been on an insane run. The Battle Bus, in my opinion, was a perfect introductory set and is in general a generational set to the likes of the Guardian's ship, 2011's Millennium Falcon, or another set we'll discuss later. Of course, it also received its first D2C set this year in the Mecha Team Leader, which is a perfect choice if you ask me. The figures are also amazing, and really the main issue I see is accessibility again, since the smallest playscale set is Peely and Sparkplug's Camp at $23, which isn't brilliant. I'm excited to see where this theme will go, and I deeply hope that they will focus more so on minifig scale sets in the future. Spot number 4 was taken up by probably the most overlooked theme currently, being Animal Crossing. I have talked a lot about entry points for different themes today, and there's almost no licensed theme that currently compares to Animal Crossing. In total, we are looking at 9 retail sets that are below the $50 bar, with 3 of them below $20. That is how any theme should operate, but there we also get to one of the weaknesses of the set, because it kind of falters in the higher range, where the sets aren't as well worth their value as in the cheaper range. Animal Crossing's concept as a game of course limits LEGO's ability to create sets as well, but on the other hand allows for some amazing figures. In terms of minifigs, this theme is like Bluey, but on crack. Sadly, I don't see this theme running for too much longer, but I think it had a fabulous run. Entering the podium on 3rd place, we're going from the most overlooked to the most underrated theme of this decade, Avatar. It's not forgettable at all, but I feel like it's often brushed to the side despite being probably the most innovative LEGO has been in a while. Sets like the Toruk Makto and Tree of Souls or the Floating Mountains Side 26 and RDA Samson are fantastic, and the minifigures in this theme can't even be talked about enough. They finally managed to make the weird Woody Buddy work and even build off that for their second wave for The Way of Water. I also think that second wave heavily impacted the way this theme was seen, since some prices went pretty crazy and it's incredibly difficult to translate underwater scenery into LEGO. Where Animal Crossing found its greatest strength, Avatar finds its biggest weakness, that being the entry point, because the cheapest set of the first wave was $45, which is insane, and the second wave only lowered that to $25. Especially for a theme with 8 sets in total, something like this shouldn't be the case. On spot number 2, we have a theme that takes a similar approach to Super Mario, but does everything better: LEGO Sonic. It's one of the most iconic video games of all time, and LEGO has done it more than justice since its launch in 2023. The minifigs so far have been nothing short of amazing, with new molds for every single figure, even redeeming the god-awful Dr. Eggman design from the Ideas set. But not only is it already better than Mario in terms of minifigs, it's also a far more accessible theme. With Sonic, LEGO also aimed to introduce another new feature, being the Speed Spheres. Now, LEGO Mario hid its interactive figures behind a $50 paywall, while Sonic offers up these spheres in 3 sets below the $50 mark, with the cheapest retailing for $20. This theme has a clear style and absolutely excels in it, with the minifigs and its low entry point putting the cherry on top. Now, first place goes to a theme that announced itself with a bang: One Piece. I must admit I'm a One Piece fan, so there's that, but this theme also came out of the gate with one of the strongest first waves I've seen. Let me get my Oli grab of the way first. I think there should have been one more cheaper set. $30 for a theme's cheapest set isn't brilliant in my opinion, and a less expensive one, for example around the Black Hat Pirates and Captain Kuro, would have helped. But other than that, this theme does everything right. The minifigures, for example, are fantastic. Some more dual molding here or there could have been beneficial, but we see so many new molds, so much arm printing, and just fantastic allocation throughout all these sets. Like, I didn't think we'd see Mihawk or Shanks, but I'm genuinely so happy that LEGO went out of the way to create figures of them. Obviously, pirate themes have existed before, but LEGO managed to put unique spins on familiar concepts, like with the floating restaurant that is Ibaratier, or improve on them. With Fortnite, I mentioned the concept of generational sets, and the Going Merry is exactly what I was talking about. You get the entire Straw Hat crew in a single set, which features an amazing shipbuild as well. I think in 10 years, this theme will be remembered like the original Pirates of the Caribbean theme. Sadly, I don't think it will be a particularly lengthy theme, given it's based on the Netflix show, but I hope for a few more sets next year with the release of Season 2. But if you want a real example of why LEGO One Piece was so fantastic, I recommend you check out my review of the Baratie floating restaurant on screen right now, and until next time, goodbye.